The most humiliating moment of my existence wasn't when I lost my first battle simulation. It wasn't when my egg cluster siblings left me behind during our survival trials. It wasn't even when High Commander Vrax spat acid on my ceremonial armor for failing to recite our conquest history perfectly. No. The most humiliating moment of my life was when I, Drax Corlon, third Talon of the Zarnian Imperial Fleet and decorated veteran of 17 planetary subjugations, found myself on my knees, begging to a human. "Please," I said, my voice translator crackling with distortion due to my pathetic trembling. "Spare me, human, I will be whatever you want." The human female stood before me, not even wearing proper battle armor. Just some flimsy fabric suit with the insignia of their United Earth Defense, or whatever they called their joke of a military organization. Her name tag read Jensen. No rank, no honorifics. Just Jensen. How primitive. "Whatever I want, huh?" Jensen said, twirling that ridiculous metal stick they called a weapon. That's a pretty broad offer from someone who was trying to, what was it again? Oh, right. Cleanse this pathetic rock of its vermin and claim it for the glory of the great Zarnian Empire. She mimicked my formal declaration speech with annoying accuracy. I would have disemboweled her for such mockery back on the fleet carrier. But here, on this gravity-forsaken mudball, all I could do was nod my head plates submissively. How did it come to this? Let me recount the events that led to my disgrace. Perhaps you will understand why humans are the most terrifying species in the known galaxy. 3 solar cycles earlier, our long-range scout vessels detected Earth. Initial scans showed a Class M planet rich in resources, inhabited by a pre-stellar civilization. Easy pickings, according to standard Imperial protocol. The High Command dispatched a single battle cruiser, mine, with just 300 warriors. That's how little they thought of humans. What's so special about humans? I had asked Fleet Commander Graz during the mission briefing. Graz flared his throat sack in amusement. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They are soft-skinned primates who still burn fossil fuels. No energy shields, no plasma weapons, no faster-than-light travel. They are barely out of their atmospheric exploration phase. This should be your easiest conquest yet, Third Talon Drax. I should have been suspicious when they sent me alone. Usually, the Empire dispatches at least 3 battle cruisers for a conquest mission. But no, they said Earth wasn't worth the resources. Just a quick subjugation, they said. Be back for the lunar festival, they said. Idiots, all of them. We entered the Sol system through a gravity fold, expecting to catch Earth's primitive detection systems off guard. Our stealth technology was supposed to be undetectable by non-quantum scanning arrays, but we were wrong. "Sir, we are being pinged by some sort of scanning beam," reported Technician Ver, his digits frantically dancing across the control panel. "Impossible," I snapped. "Their technology isn't capable of detecting our fold signatures." "Nevertheless, sir, they have locked onto us. And there's something else." Speak Technician. "They are broadcasting a message. On all frequencies. In Galactic Standard." Now that got my attention. Galactic Standard is the trade language used by advanced civilizations. Earth shouldn't have known it existed, let alone be able to broadcast in it. "Put it through," I ordered, my curiosity momentarily overriding protocol. The ship's comm system crackled. Then a calm, almost bored human voice filled our command center. Unidentified vessel approaching Earth orbital space. "This is Captain Eliza Jensen of United Earth Defense. You have entered restricted space without authorization. Please identify yourself and state your intentions, or we will be forced to consider you hostile. You have 5 minutes to comply." The command center erupted in surprised chittering. 5 minutes? They were giving us an ultimatum? "Prepare weapons," I commanded. "Target their major defense installations and government centers." "What standard conquest pattern?" "Sir," Weapons Officer Kraz interjected, "perhaps we should respond to their hail first?" Intelligence reports suggest humans are open to dialogue. I laughed. Actually laughed. Dialogue with a conquest target? What's next, Kraz? Tea and pastries with the local fauna. No, we follow protocol. The Zarnian Empire doesn't negotiate with pre-stellar species. But, oh, how I wish I'd listened to Kraz. We launched our first attack wave. 50 automated strike craft loaded with plasma charges, targeting what our intelligence identified as Earth's primary military bases. By all calculations, the assault should have crippled their defensive capabilities in seconds. Not a single strike craft reached its target. What in the seven moons is happening? I roared as the tactical display showed all 50 craft winking out of existence. Unknown defense system, sir. Technician Ver shouted back. They are using some sort of directed energy weapon, not plasma-based, not like anything in our records. Before I could process this information, another voice came over our comms. This is your only warning, Jensen's voice again, still infuriatingly calm. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded, or we will respond with proportional force. Proportional force? After we'd just tried to bomb their planet. What kind of military doctrine was this? Prepare the main cannon, I ordered. Target their largest population center. Let's see how calm they remain when facing extinction. In retrospect, this was the moment I signed my own death warrant, and possibly that of the entire Zarnian Empire. Our main cannon was the pride of our fleet. A gravitometric pulse weapon capable of creating localized tectonic disruptions. One shot could trigger earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. It was our planet killer. We fired at what our data identified as New York City. The beam never reached Earth's atmosphere. Instead, something impossible happened. The beam curved. It physically bent in space, redirecting back toward our ship. Thankfully, our automated defense systems detected the incoming energy signature and initiated emergency evasive maneuvers. How? I gasped, watching the tactical display as our own weapon's energy dissipated harmlessly in space. That's not possible. Energy deflection on that scale would require technology far beyond what we possess. Weapons Officer Kraz finished my thought, his voice hollow with dread. Before anyone could suggest our next move, our ship shuddered violently. Warning klaxons blared throughout the command center. We are being boarded, Security Chief Morta announced, her claws extending automatically. Multiple breaches on decks 3 through 7. How? Our shields are at full power. Nothing should be able to penetrate. Another violent shake interrupted me, this one powerful enough to throw several crew members from their stations. They are using some sort of matter transportation technology, Sir, Ver explained, his voice rising in panic. They are bypassing our shields entirely. All warriors to defensive positions. I commanded, seal the command center. Initiate self-destruct if they breach our final defenses. What followed was chaos. Reports flooded in from all decks. Our warriors, each trained to fight and defeat a dozen enemies, were falling within seconds of engaging the human boarders. The humans moved too fast. Their weapons bypassed our personal shields. Some didn't even seem to be using technology at all, just their bare hands and strange fighting techniques that our warriors had no defense against. Sir, we have lost decks 3 through 12, Morta reported, her usually steady voice quivering. They are not killing our warriors, sir. They are disabling them. Disabling? What do you mean? Non-lethal weapons of some kind. Causing paralysis, unconsciousness, sir. They are taking prisoners. This was unheard of in galactic warfare. Taking prisoners required resources, planning, infrastructure. No species did this during an initial engagement. It was inefficient, illogical. Yet something about it terrified me more than if they'd simply been killing our warriors. Seal the command center. Authorization Drax Omega 7. The massive durasteel doors began to close. They were designed to withstand direct plasma fire. Nothing short of our ship's main cannon should have been able to breach them. They never fully closed. A small metallic sphere rolled through the narrowing gap, stopping in the center of the command center. Before anyone could react, it released a blinding flash and a concussive wave that sent me flying across the room. When my vision cleared, the command center was filled with humans. At least 20 of them wearing what appeared to be lightweight combat suits. Their weapons were trained on my crew, most of whom were groaning on the floor. And there she was, Jensen, walking calmly toward my command chair as if she were touring a museum. "Third Talon Drax Corlon of the Zarnian Imperial Fleet," she said, pronouncing my name and title perfectly. "I presume—" I tried to stand, reaching for my ceremonial blade. A human male casually fired some sort of projectile that embedded itself in my shoulder joint, releasing an electrical charge that dropped me back to the floor. "I wouldn't," the male said flatly. "That was set to stun. The next one won't be." Jensen crouched beside me, examining me with unsettling curiosity. "You know, you are the 6th alien invasion we have repelled this year. But the first to try a direct assault rather than infiltration. Points for boldness, I suppose. 6th? This year?" "Impossible," I growled. "Earth is an isolated world. Our intelligence confirmed this." Jensen laughed, a musical sound that somehow carried more menace than a battle cry. "Your intelligence is about 300 years out of date, Talon Drax. Earth hasn't been isolated since we reverse-engineered our first alien craft back in the 1940s. You are just the newest bullies to discover that humans don't take kindly to uninvited guests." My mind reeled. If what she said was true, then the High Command had sent me on a suicide mission. But why? What purpose could this serve? "What happens now?" I asked, trying to maintain some dignity despite being flat on my back, paralyzed from the shoulder down. "Now? Now we have a chat about why the Zarnian Empire, a supposedly advanced civilization, is still engaging in the extremely primitive practice of planetary conquest. And more importantly—" She leaned closer, her eyes reflecting something that sent cold fear through my spine. "You are going to tell us where to find the rest of your fleet." "I will tell you nothing, human," I spat. "I am a 3rd Talon of the Imperial Fleet. I would rather die than betray." "Oh, we are not going to kill you," Jensen interrupted, standing back up. "But that would be wasteful. And contrary to what your species might believe, humans aren't wasteful when it comes to resources, including sentient ones." She gestured to her soldiers, who began securing my crew with some sort of energy restraints. "Take them to processing," she ordered. "Standard diplomatic protocols. Full cognitive scan, but remember the Non-Invasive Sentient Rights Act guidelines." As 2 humans approached to restrain me, I made a desperate move. Using my unparalyzed arm, I activated the emergency toxin release in my armor, a last resort that would release a deadly neurotoxin, killing everyone in the room, including myself. Nothing happened. "Looking for this?" Jensen held up a small vial of glowing blue liquid, my toxin capsule. "We neutralized your biological and chemical weapons the moment we boarded. We have dealt with suicide protocols before. That's when true panic set in. These humans weren't just technologically advanced. They were prepared. Specifically prepared for species like mine. They knew our tactics, our technology, even our biology." "Who are you people?" I whispered. Jensen smiled. Not the friendly expression humans exchange among themselves, but something predatory. "We are humanity," she said simply. "The species everyone underestimates. Until it's too late." That was 6 Earth rotations ago. 6 days of interrogation, of having my mind scanned by their machines, of watching my proud warriors reduced to cooperative information sources through methods I still don't fully understand. They didn't use torture. Not physical torture, anyway. They used something far worse, the truth. They showed us historical records, evidence of previous alien contacts, of technologies we thought impossible, of a human civilization that had been playing a complex game of galactic politics while pretending to be an isolated, primitive world. And now, here I was, on my knees before Jensen, offering to be whatever she wanted in exchange for my life. "Well," she said after a long moment of consideration, "I suppose we could use someone with your military experience. As a cultural consultant, perhaps." I looked up, hardly believing what I was hearing. "You would use me? Rather than execute me for my attempted invasion?" Jensen shrugged. "Execution is inefficient. And like I said, humans don't waste resources." As she helped me to my feet, I realized with growing horror that I wasn't the first alien commander to end up in this position. And I certainly wouldn't be the last. "Welcome to Earth, Drax," Jensen said with that terrifying smile. "I think you are going to find your stay here educational." And that's how I became Earth's newest immigrant, whether I wanted to be or not. Educational, Jensen had said. What an absurd understatement. The following months weren't just educational. They were paradigm-shattering, dignity-crushing, and mind-blowing, not necessarily in that order. My first week as Earth's cultural consultant began with a tour of their primary defense facility. Not a military base as I'd expected, but a sprawling campus they called the Hub, located beneath a mountain in a region humans called Colorado. It stretched 20 levels underground and housed representatives from over 40 alien species. Yes, 40, all working with humans, not against them or under their subjugation. "This is impossible," I muttered as Jensen led me through a massive atrium where humans casually interacted with species I recognized and many I didn't. "The Zarnian Intelligence Directorate has no records of this level of collaboration." "That's by design," Jensen replied, not even looking back at me as she navigated through the crowd. "Earth has maintained what we call a technological masquerade for the past 3 centuries. We show the galaxy what we want them to see." A hulking Krelvian, a species known for their unparalleled strength and warrior culture, nodded respectfully at Jensen as we passed. The Krelvian, taking orders from a human. The same humans that our educational programs portrayed as primitive monkey descendants, barely capable of rubbing sticks together to make fire. "But why?" I asked, hurrying to keep pace. "If you possess this level of technology, why pretend to be primitive? Your species could dominate the galactic community." Jensen stopped so abruptly I nearly collided with her. She turned, fixing me with that unnervingly direct gaze that humans seem to have perfected. "That's exactly the kind of thinking that got your fleet sent here on a suicide mission, Drax," she said. "Domination is inefficient. Collaboration is sustainable." We learned that lesson the hard way, long before we reached the stars. Before I could respond, a voice called out across the atrium. "Yo, Jensen, is this the new fish?" A human male approached, shorter than Jensen but with a muscular build that strained against his uniform. His name tag read Patel. Fresh from processing, Jensen confirmed. "Drax Corlon, 3rd Talon of the Zarnian Imperial Fleet. Or former 3rd Talon, I should say." Patel circled me, examining my physiology with undisguised curiosity. "Zarnian, huh? Haven't seen one of you guys since, what was it, the Proxima incident?" 3 years ago, Jensen nodded. "Different legion, though. This one's from the Outer Rim Expansion Force. They discussed me as if I were a specimen in a laboratory. Which, in a sense, I suppose I was." "Listen, human," I growled at Patel, my patience wearing thin. "I may be your captive, but I am still a warrior of the Zarnian Empire. Show some respect." Patel's response was to laugh. Not nervously, not mockingly, just genuine amusement, as if I'd told a mildly amusing joke at a dinner party. "Sorry, buddy," he said, clapping me on my armored shoulder. "No disrespect intended. It's just that we get this speech about once a month from whoever's tried to invade us most recently. It loses its impact after the first dozen times." He leaned in, lowering his voice conspiratorially. "Word of advice? The sooner you drop the Mighty Warrior Act, the easier your transition will be. Ask the Krelvian ambassador over there. He used to be a war master before his invasion fleet met our defense grid." That Krelvian was an ambassador now. What kind of twisted rehabilitation program was this? I will leave you with Patel, Jensen announced. He's in charge of alien integration. He will get you set up with quarters and your work assignment. Work assignment? I echoed. Did you think we were going to let you sit around all day contemplating your failed conquest? Jensen raised an eyebrow. Everyone contributes here, even former invaders. With that, she walked away, leaving me with the insufferably cheerful Patel. Come on, Third Talon, he said, gesturing for me to follow. Let's find out what skills you have got besides trying to blow up planets. The next few weeks passed in a blur of bewildering revelations. I learned that humans had encountered their first alien visitors, the Greys, as they called them back in the 1940s. Rather than panicking or submitting, they captured one of their vessels, reverse-engineered its technology, and began preparing for a universe they now knew was populated with potentially hostile species. But here's the truly insidious part. They kept it secret. Not just from their own population, but from the wider galactic community. They developed advanced technology in hidden facilities while maintaining the appearance of a slowly progressing pre-stellar civilization on the surface. Think of Earth as a duck, explained Dr. Nikita Lawson, my assigned cultural interpreter. A what? I asked, unfamiliar with the term. A waterfowl. Swimming bird. Looks serene above the water but paddling like crazy underneath. That's humanity's approach to galactic politics. But why? Why the deception? Dr. Lawson's expression turned serious. Because we studied galactic history. We saw what happens to species that announce their technological advancements too quickly. They become targets, resources to be exploited, or they get drawn into ancient conflicts they have no stake in. We wanted to develop on our own terms. It made a disturbing amount of sense. The Zarnian Empire followed a standard protocol for emerging civilizations, monitor until they develop certain key technologies, and then either recruit them as vassals or conquer them, depending on their usefulness. Humans had simply hidden their development. And in doing so, gained centuries of precious time. My work assignment turned out to be in the Tactical Assessment Division. Humans wanted me to analyze Zarnian military strategies and defensive capabilities. They wanted me to help them prepare for the inevitable larger conflict that would come when my disappearance was investigated. At first I resisted. I may have begged for my life, but betraying Imperial military secrets was another matter entirely. I understand your reluctance, said Director Omar Kelly, the imposing head of tactical assessment. But consider this, the High Command sent you here with outdated intelligence, inadequate forces, and no extraction plan. They sacrificed you, Drax. You can't know that, I insisted. Actually, we can. Kelly pressed a button on his desk, and a holographic display activated, showing a Zarnian communication log. This was intercepted 3 days ago. A message from High Commander Vrax to the Imperial Senate. The log played, showing Vrax, that pompous sack of organs, addressing the Senate. The Third Talon's mission was a calculated loss, he explained coolly to the assembled dignitaries. We suspected Earth might have hidden technologies based on anomalous energy readings. Vrax's expedition was designed to test their capabilities while appearing to be a standard conquest mission. His ship was equipped with enhanced recording systems that transmitted data back to the Empire before its destruction. My heart's nearly stopped. My mission, my warriors, my career, all sacrificial pieces in some political game. They used me, I whispered. Kelly nodded sympathetically. Welcome to galactic politics, Drax. Now, would you like to continue protecting the Empire that discarded you, or would you prefer to help us prepare for what's coming next? Put that way, my choice seemed obvious. Over the following months, I threw myself into my work. I provided detailed analyses of Zarnian tactics, fleet movements, and technological capabilities. In return, humans gradually revealed more of their own advancements to me. And what advancements they were. Human FTL technology didn't rely on gravity folds like most species, but but on something they called probability manipulation, essentially rewriting the mathematical likelihood of a vessel being in one location versus another. Their weapons systems didn't just destroy targets, they could selectively disable specific systems while leaving others intact. Most impressive of all was their biological adaptation program. Humans had been systematically integrating beneficial alien DNA into their genome for generations, enhancing their natural capabilities while maintaining their core genetic identity. They had explained how they moved so quickly during the boarding of my ship, how they survived in environments that should have been toxic to their kind. They weren't just humans anymore. They were something more. "Why are you telling me all this?" I asked Patel during one of our now regular meal sessions in the hub's central commissary. "Aren't you worried I might escape and reveal your secrets?" Patel laughed, spraying bits of something called taco across the table. "Escape to where? Your empire thinks you are dead. Your identity implants have been neutralized. Besides," he added with a wink, "we have been tracking your integration scores. You are starting to like it here." I was about to deliver a scathing denial when the facility's alarm system activated. Red lights pulsed along the walls as a calm female voice announced, "Attention, proximity alert. Unidentified vessel approaching Earth defense perimeter. All personnel to alert stations." Patel's jovial expression vanished, replaced by focused professionalism. "Come with me," he ordered, all traces of friendliness gone. "We might need your expertise." We rushed to the command center, a massive chamber filled with holographic displays and buzzing with activity. Jensen was already there, issuing orders to her team. "Profile matches a Zarnian heavy cruiser," an operator announced, "significantly larger than the previous vessel." My respiratory sacs tightened. "The inevitable conquest," I said, recognizing the ship's energy signature. "High Commander Vrax's personal flagship." Jensen turned to me, her expression unreadable. "Seems your former employers have come looking for you after all. Any insights to share before we engage?" I hesitated. This was the moment where my true loyalties would be tested. The inevitable conquest carried over 2,000 warriors. Vrax himself had led dozens of successful planetary subjugations. If any force could challenge Earth's defenses, it would be his. And yet, "Vrax doesn't know what he's walking into," I said finally. "But he's not stupid. He will have analyzed the data from my failed mission and adjusted his approach. Expect infiltration attempts rather than direct confrontation." Jensen nodded. "Thank you, Drax. That confirms our assessment." She turned to the command staff. "Activate the mesh. Full spectrum surveillance. I want every quantum fluctuation monitored." "What's the plan?" I asked, surprised to find myself genuinely concerned for Earth's safety. "Standard protocol," Jensen replied. "Observe, evaluate, then decide whether to reveal ourselves or maintain the masquerade." Patel guided me to a monitoring station where we could observe the situation. The inevitable conquest had taken up position just beyond the orbit of Mars, maintaining a distance that would have been beyond the range of the primitive weapons Earth was supposed to possess. "They are deploying something," an operator announced. "Small craft. Dozens of them." "Not strike ships," I noted, examining the readings. "Stealth pods. Each one probably contains a single infiltrator equipped with phase-shifting technology. They will try to bypass your defenses by operating outside normal space-time." Patel grinned. "Phase shifting. That's adorable. Like trying to sneak into a quantum physics lab with a Halloween costume." He tapped his communication device. "Jensen, they are using phase shifters. Want me to activate the anchors?" "Do it," Jensen ordered. Throughout Earth's atmosphere, thousands of previously invisible devices activated. The anchors, as they called them, generated an energy field that forced all matter in the vicinity to remain in a single quantum state. On the monitoring screens, the stealth pods suddenly became visible, their phase-shifting technology rendered useless. They hung in Earth's atmosphere, exposed and vulnerable. "Open a channel to the inevitable conquest," Jensen commanded. A moment later, the imposing figure of High Commander Vrax appeared on the main display. His throat sac was inflated with aggression, his eye stalks rigid with surprise at being contacted directly. "This is Captain Eliza Jensen of United Earth Defense," Jensen stated calmly. "Your infiltration units have been neutralized. Your vessel is currently targeted by 37 orbital defense platforms capable of bypassing your shields. I suggest you withdraw immediately." Vrax's eye stalks twitched in confusion. "Impossible," he growled. "Earth does not possess such technology." "Oh, for the love of," Patel muttered beside me. "Why do they always say that? It's like watching someone argue with reality." "Perhaps a demonstration is in order," Jensen suggested. She nodded to an operator. One of Earth's defense platforms, actually a satellite that had been disguised as space debris, fired a concentrated beam at one of the inevitable Conquest's secondary weapon arrays. The beam passed through the ship's shields as if they weren't there, precisely severing the array from the ship's hull. Vrax's composure visibly crumbled. "How did you?" "You have 30 seconds to reverse course," Jensen interrupted. "Or we will be forced to take more significant action." That's when I did something unexpected. I stepped into view of the communication feed. "High Commander," I said, my voice steady. "This is 3rd Talon Drax Corlon. I recommend you comply. Earth's capabilities far exceed our intelligence reports. They have been concealing their true technological level for centuries." Vrax's eye stalks nearly crossed in shock. "Drax, you are alive? And collaborating with these primates?" "They are not what we thought they were," I replied simply. "And neither am I anymore." For a tense moment I thought Vrax might order a full attack out of sheer wounded pride. Instead, his throat sac slowly deflated, the Zarnian equivalent of a resigned sigh. Withdraw, he ordered his crew. Plot a course back to Imperial space. The communication ended, and the command center erupted in relieved chatter as the inevitable conquest turned away from Earth. Jensen approached me, actual respect in her eyes. "That was unexpected, Drax. Thank you." I shrugged my shoulder plates, a gesture I'd picked up from humans. "I just prevented unnecessary bloodshed. Mostly Zarnian blood, to be honest." "Still," Jensen said, "you just publicly sided with Earth against your former commander." "That's not nothing." "No, it wasn't nothing. It was treason against the Empire. It was the final severing of my old identity. And strangely, I felt lighter for it." "So what happens now?" I asked. Jensen smiled, that unnerving smile of hers. Now the real work begins. The Zarnian Empire will report this encounter to the Galactic Council. Questions will be asked about Earth's true status. The masquerade is ending, Drax. "And that's good?" "It's inevitable," she replied. "We have been preparing for this day for a long time. Earth is ready to take its place in galactic politics. Not as conquerors, not as vassals, but as equals." As I watched humans and their alien allies working seamlessly together in the command center, I realized something profound. Humans weren't just different because of their technology or their biological adaptations. They were different because they had rejected the fundamental assumption that most spacefaring species operated on, that strength existed to dominate. "I think I finally understand what you meant," I told Jensen as we watched the inevitable conquest disappear into a gravity fold, about domination being inefficient and collaboration being sustainable. "Oh?" Jensen raised an eyebrow. "Do tell." "The Zarnian Empire has conquered hundreds of worlds over thousands of years. And what do we have to show for it? Constant rebellions, resource depletion, and endless military expenditure to maintain control." I gestured around at the diverse beings working together in the command center. "But this? 40 species working toward common goals? That's not just powerful, it's revolutionary." Jensen nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. "Welcome to the revolution, Drax Corlon, former 3rd Talon of the Zarnian Imperial Fleet, and current human ally 1st Class. Is that actually a title?" I asked suspiciously. "It is now," she replied with a grin. I just made it up. But that's how humans do things. We adapt, we improvise. And occasionally, she added, glancing at the screen where Vrax's ship had been, we terrify the hell out of would-be conquerors. Looking back now, from my position as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council, I can't help but marvel at the strange journey that brought me here. From would-be conqueror to diplomatic representative in less than an Earth year. And when newly contacted species ask me what humans are really like, I tell them the truth. They are the most terrifying species in the galaxy. Not because they are the strongest or the most advanced, but because they have figured out something the rest of us are still struggling to learn. What's that? They inevitably ask. That the most powerful force in the universe isn't dominance, I reply. It's adaptation. And humans? They are the masters of adaptation. Oh, and I always add, whatever you do, don't try to invade them. Trust me on this one. After all, I should know. I was the last fool who tried.